Welcome to the name game. Workout number 94 is Dipsy Do. 4 time with a 15-minute cap. We have 40 deadlifts at 155 for males, 105 for females, 40 handstand push-ups, 30 hang power cleans, 155, 105, 30 strict handstand push-ups, 20 front squats, 155, 105, and then finally a 200-foot handstand walk. Let's get into standards. So for the deadlift, the bar comes from the floor, locked out at the hip. We're defining locked out as having those shoulders back behind the plane of the bar from a side view and no bouncing the bar off the floor. For the handstand push-ups and the strict handstand push-ups, we're going to tape a 40 by 24 inch box on those inside lines. No part of your palms or your fingertips may touch those lines. Again, for both handstand push-up variations, the start of each rep means heels against the wall. You have your elbows locked out, your head's in line, and your butt is off the wall at the start of each rep and at the finish of each rep in order to count. So you need to make sure you get the heels against fully locked out before that rep actually counts. Obviously, the first set of handstand push-ups may be kipping if you choose to do so. The second set has to be strict, which means that you cannot involve your legs. The hang power cleans. Hang is defined as below your hips and have to have straight elbows. So it doesn't matter if you bounce those or you do a more traditional style hang power clean, as long as those elbows are getting locked out. In the hang, it's gonna count. The other big thing with the hang power clean is to make sure that you're getting your elbows through in front of your body from the side view, and making sure that you're extending knees and hips before that bar gets lowered back down into your next rep. For the 20 front squats, again, all these reps are coming from the floor. You can hold the front rack however you want, as long as it's actually staying in the front rack, and making sure that each rep you're starting fully locked out and descending hip crease below knee in each rep. Once again, making sure hips and knees are locked out at the top of the rep before you drop or go into the next one. So finally is that 200-foot handstand walk. We're gonna break this into 8 lengths of 25 feet each. We're gonna put 5-foot increments down on the floor. If you mess up or trip or fail before both hands cross that line, you need to make sure you back up and start at the previous line. When you kick up, you need to make sure that, again, no part of your fingertips or your palms are touching that line. And then once you actually go past the line, you need to make sure, once again, you're going past it where no part of like the heel of your hand or your fingertips is touching that line, and before you actually come back down off that rep. So let's bring in Coach Chris and we'll talk about strategy.
All right. So first impressions is, the first thing I see is that 15-minute cap, and kind of it's a decent amount of work to get in that 15-minute time frame. So that's something we were kind of talking off air about. But, being that with the weight of the barbell being 155 for the guys, 105 for the girls, I think it's one that people will move relatively quickly through the first half. And then your money's made on the second half. Right. Kind of the strict handstand push-ups on, I feel like, is where things are really going to get tough there.
Yeah. I mean, I think everyone's going to be breaking the hang power cleans just to be smart, just because otherwise they'll be staring at the wall in the next movement.
Right.
But at the same time, like, I think that's not where the separation is. Like, people will be breaking there, but that's not really a separator. It's more just like smart breaks, knowing what's to come.
Mm-hmm.
So almost everything up to like the strict handstand push-ups is, I think, for a lot of athletes, they can almost think of that as a buy-in, in the sense that like you're just kind of moving through it and you're not really trying to like hammer down and put the gas on just yet.
Yeah. And I think if you're someone who looks at this workout and, you're an athlete with good upper body pressing, and 155, 105 barbell is not that heavy for you, or moderate weight, right? Then you're going to get into the handstand walk. And so being able to strategize how to break up the kipping handstand push-ups and the strict handstand push-ups so you have enough juice in your shoulders for the handstand walk is going to be super important, right? If you're an athlete who maybe doesn't have as good of upper body pressing, and you might get log jammed at the strict handstand push-ups, then you might be in the clear to move a little bit quicker on the deadlifts and the hang power cleans to give you as much time as possible on the strict handstand push-ups. And then if you do make it to handstand walk, then at that point, everything's gravy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's kind of how I would look to approach it. But yeah, I think depending on what your capabilities are, the strict handstand push-ups might get tough. We talked about how both of us hate front squatting in a workout, just that the bar not leaving your chest is hard. But again, if you're someone who has pretty good upper body gymnastics pressing and you're going to get into the handstand walk, breaking up those handstand push-ups from the jump to make sure you kind of approach it from the totality so you have enough in your arms to do 200 feet of handstand walk in the end is going to be important.
Yeah. If you're a games athlete, do the handstand push-ups unbroken. For everybody else,
show me something.
Yeah. So yeah, obviously break them up. Like you don't have to do all 40 deadlifts unbroken. Don't have to do the handstand push-ups and take big sets. Like just sort of walk your way into the workout, right? Like take it a little easy. One of my thoughts is like on the front squats, I think something that if you have like a really big, delt and tricep pump, you can kind of like do like the power lifter front squat where you cross your arms and like, hold the bar like that. Like there's no rules around having to keep your hands on the bar for front squats. So that's one thing that you can think about. And then for the handstand walks, again, if you do get there, just being really smart about how conservative you are and like how much you push up against like muscle failure. Because again, sometimes like handstand walking is like a breathing or like midline limitation. If this was like a bunch of deadlifts, and you like were super out of breath beforehand, like, row deadlift that was super heavy and then handstand walk, it would be a very different feel than a handstand walk with blown up triceps and shoulders. So even if you're somebody who's pretty confident that can fall apart fairly easily, you just need to be mindful of that.
Yeah, totally agree.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, I don't really have a whole lot of other thoughts. I mean, I think people kind of know where their capacity is in something like handstand push-ups. And I would say most people can expect to work for 15 minutes.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. I'd like to see people kind of get after this little chipper and see where we get.
And lastly, we encourage as many people as possible to jump in with you and do these workouts. So you've got people who want to throw down with you, by all means, encourage them to do that. However, we want everyone to submit their scores, right? So where you're going to go to is zorfitness.com. You'll hit on menu, drop down from the protocol. You'll hit that tab called name game. And then you'll go down to the first workout, which should be the newest one. And you're going to click that little green arrow. There you'll be able to enter your name also with the workout name. That's important because it tags it so it doesn't get lost in the forum later on. But then you obviously are going to put your score or your time, and then you'll submit it. If you click on that little number next to it, you're going to see all the other comments, right? You might actually not be able to view them all. So if you hit view all comments, that's going to take you down sort of a leaderboard where you get to compare scores. And then also your coach gets to help determine where you stack up versus other competitors to be able to determine your individual weaknesses. This is going to be super helpful for us, pretty exciting and engaging for you guys. And if you're someone who's watching this, you're not a Zor Fitness athlete yet, I'll link to it below, but you can either check out the protocol or one-on-one coaching and we'll reach out, see if you're a good fit. And for everyone, best of luck on the workout.